Hey everybody, Mike Miller, Herald Times, coming to you from the State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois, joined by my pal, Jeremy Price. What's happening, Jeremy?
Well, I don't know what to do. We didn't have a 2-point game go down to the wire tonight, so I'm a little at a loss a bit.
Well, I mean, India has also won 3 straight games now. I don't think they've done that this season, in the sense that everything pre-January feels like it was a totally different season.
Yeah,
So.
not in 2019 they haven't.
Yeah. Actually, in all seriousness, the last time they did win 3 straight games was January 3rd, beating this Illinois team back in Bloomington. Tonight, a 92-74 victory, I believe, off the top of my head, over Illinois. Keeps Indiana right back on track to where they need to be. Outside of a Big Ten tournament run, Indiana needs to... there's no room for error this week. It needs to win both these games. Got the first checkpoint out of the way, beating Illinois. And now up is Rutgers on Sunday, and there you need at least one in the tournament. But for now, this one, it was strange, I think, in the sense that it almost looked easy for Indiana. And it was a game where I think Indiana handled pressure in all of its forms, whether it was the pressure of the moment and recognizing mistakes, but also, frankly, just the tangible pressure in front of them, the pressure from Illinois' defense. And frankly, Illinois doesn't play great defense, but they harass you and they frustrate you, and they do all sorts of things to get you out of what you want to do. And again, the way they handled that, especially from midway through the first half on, was really remarkable. Again, with the relative ease that they demonstrated.
Yeah, and I think part of what's impressive about this is the way Indiana has come to play repeatedly, game after game after game. Now going on 3 weeks of this, basically, and for a while there, it was hard to get them to put one, let alone 2 games together. So for this to continue now, really over a course of, 6 games, I think, basically, since that Minnesota game, the effort, the intensity, the focus has continued to be there. And this would be one where, not that they didn't know what was at stake here, but, going on the road at Illinois, you're coming off a big emotional win over Michigan State at home, and you're looking ahead to senior day on Sunday against Rutgers. I mean, this is a game where it would not have been surprising if they'd have come out just a little bit flat or whatever, and this team didn't do that. If anything, Illinois was kind of the team that was a little bit flat tonight, and as you mentioned in your game story, if it wasn't for Illinois making 10 3-pointers, and I think 7 of those came in the first half, was really the only thing keeping this even remotely a ball game for any stretch of time. But for that, this would have been a blowout very, very early, and it was still a blowout most of the second half, really.
Yeah, no, it totally was. I mean, there was a one point, I think, coming out of the, it was must have been the under 8. I think Illinois had 6 threes at that point. And Archie Miller's just looking up at the scoreboard that kind of has the team stats in comparison up there, and he's just looking, and he says to Tom Ostrom, just 6 for 14 from 3, or whatever, 6 for 11 for 3. It's like, I think he said some other words too, but I mean, that was it. I mean, that was the one thing that was giving Illinois any sort of traction in this game. And I think when you're looking at Indiana's side of it, you have to look at Rob Finney. You have to start there at least. It was a game where Indiana finished 5 guys in double figures, but the guy steering the ship, the guy who really keyed that charge, was a guy who, just a month ago was really a shell of the player that we saw so often in November, December, and suddenly a guy who has really been credited with it for his steady play over the last couple weeks. Was one of the biggest differences in this game tonight.
Yeah, I thought he was the player of the game. I mean, Juwan Morgan came out and was very aggressive early and sort of helped set a tone, but I think Rob Finney is ultimately he's the engine that makes this team go, which is typical of any good point guard. I mean, if you have a good point guard, you're going to be able to be the catalyst for success or not success for any given team. And right now, I think it's become maybe more clear than ever before how much Indiana missed Rob Finney and how long it took him to really get back. And if you go back, it really the good play for Finney kind of started 9 games ago when Indiana went to Michigan State and won that game. That's started a string where he's only committed 5 turnovers in the 9 games from that point forward, no more than 1 in any single game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was sort of the start of quality play, but it still took another few weeks after that. I really think it was the Iowa game at Iowa a few weeks ago.
Yes, I agree.
Where he actually was looking to attack and be aggressive and instead of just react. And, Archie Miller complimented him that Rob's not a guy that goes for the home run play. He plays carefully, plays safe. Sometimes where he even will miss an open guy because he's playing so safe. But at the same time, the difference is maybe he doesn't make that pass, but now he's at least attacking off the dribble. He's getting to the basket. He's getting in the lane. He's creating for other people, and that's what he was doing tonight. And when Rob Finney's on the front foot, this Indiana team's on the front foot.
Yeah, you go back to the Iowa game, it's almost remarkable to think. I mean, he cramped up, I think, in the first minute of overtime in that game, and he couldn't play the final 3.5 minutes, whatever it was. He had Devontae Green out there, and it was more the bad Devontae Green that you saw in that game. It's just a wonder if you have a healthy Rob Finney in that game, even what happens there. But lo and behold, Indiana's here in this final stretch. They got the first win they needed. Now they go home and play an upstart Rutgers team that is not your father's Rutgers team, or at least not the Rutgers team we saw in the first 4 years of their Big Ten run or 3, whatever it's been.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, you're looking at a hugely important win here tonight, where for a team that only had 2 true road wins this season at Penn State and at Michigan State, I mean, that's definitely something that I think I don't want to say all eyes at the committee were on this game, because they weren't. But I mean, when you look at Indiana's resume and some. You're going to look at their ability to play outside of Assembly Hall, which granted they haven't really done that all that well at Assembly Hall, but still, again, like you said, to come in an environment like here, a team that has played pretty well at home, or at least given teams trouble here at home this season, I think it says a lot. I think it just suggests again that you're seeing an Indiana team that is I think as healthy as it's been, as deep as it's been. And again, just I think playing as well as it has, really, since that transition from November to December.
Yeah, I think they're definitely starting to hit their stride. But I guess the positive side of that is you feel like they're still better. Each time it seems like they're getting a little bit better, and as they integrate people and things, it gets better. And right now you've just got a lot of guys playing with confidence, and so even if you're only playing a few minutes, Evan Fitzner comes in, didn't play a whole lot of minutes tonight, but stepped right in, hit a big 3 in the first half, part of the run that gave Indiana the lead for good there midway through the first half. Race Thompson only plays 3 minutes, but he came in the second half, did his thing defensively, scored a point on a free throw, gave you a little something there. Deron Davis is, I think, coming up Sunday against Rutgers, just having Deron Davis will be huge against some of the big guys that Rutgers has to offer, and obviously he wasn't healthy at that point, and really wasn't healthy for the first Illinois game, and I think having Deron as a guy that can go against the Illinois big man, whose name I will not even attempt to say, but has a lot of consonants and vowels, is important for this Indiana team. So, it speaks to your point, as this team's gotten healthy and gotten more pieces, it's given Archie Miller more options off the bench, more lineup mixes and matches. Tonight we saw a lot of Devontae Green and Rob Finney playing together, which we saw a little bit earlier in the season, but we really haven't seen that a ton until just the last couple of games, really. Before that, it was more one or the other kind of thing. So, it's the right time. And there's still... things are trending in the right direction, shall we say.
Yeah, definitely. I think you saw an Indiana team that settled far too often early on. I know that certainly had Archie Miller's ire, midway through that, or not even midway through, about the 13, 12-minute mark of that first half. Settling for threes in the corner, threes on the wing.
Really, if you do something in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock, you're doing what Illinois wants you to do. If you are patient and break that initial pressure and work through 15, 20, 25 seconds, you're probably going to get something you want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, teams are scoring. I mean, for as much as Illinois likes to get in your face, if you can get by them, you can score. I mean, Illinois they're the bottom of the Big Ten as far as, 2-point field goal percentage. I mean, teams are scoring like 53, 54% inside the arc and gets them. And that was the big thing you heard. I mean, you're sitting right behind the bench and you hear Archie Miller just say, attack the rim, stop settling for these bleeping threes. That's what they did. 52 points in the paint. I mean, it's just, again, this is the Indiana team. This is what Indiana looks like when it's at its best. This is just what Indiana. It was really, I think, in total, a glimpse of what what Indiana is when it is, like you said, on its front foot.
Yeah, probably it's. I would argue probably its best game, certainly offensively, aside from maybe Marquette early in the year.
Yeah.
But to put up 92 points tonight, I was not expecting that at all.
No. Even Archie. I mean, I don't even think did we even mention the 7 turnovers? I mean, the 7. I mean, to at 2 at halftime, it was just. I
believe somebody said it might have been the fewest Illinois forced all season in a game.
I mean, they're forcing on average just about 17 a game. I mean. teams are committing turnovers on 22, 23% of the possessions. This is not an easy place to play. It's not an easy team to play against just because of the way they disrupt you. But my goodness, it looked like this was an NCAA tournament caliber performance. Obviously, there's still more work to do, but it all suggests that this Indiana team is up for the challenge.
Yep, we'll see what happens from here. Everybody wants to know, oh, is Indiana in the NCAA tournament yet? I don't know. I don't think it's worth really discussing. To be honest, it's not worth discussing until Chicago next week, and because it's going to be clearly dependent on what they do there. So
pretty much,
the only thing you can say is they've got to keep winning now, which one down tonight, part 2 on Sunday against Rutgers, and then we go from there.
I think I just saw a mouse run across the floor. We got to get out of here. Sorry, I got to get out of here. I saw that we were at Madison Square Garden in the Big Ten tournament last year. It was late. It was the last game of the day against Rutgers, and just like 2 mice scurried across the court. And it's the rat capital of the world. I hope they were mice. But that ruined Madison Square Garden for me. State Farm Center has just been ruined for me. I got to get out of here before I see this rodent again. See you, folks.